So sorry, it took a little bit of time. We are still deep diving on the subqueries. Sorry, I'm doing streaming. So we said like a subquery is a query inside another query entirely. Usually used to we could use it inside the select statement, we could use it inside the from statement, we could use it inside the and having. Where and having are for filtering. We said that the where is used for filtering rows, while having is used for filtering what grouped aggregated values. That is where we use the having. So subquery make SQL powerful, and even for breaking down complex queries, into more simpler, breaking down problems into sub problems so you can solve. So it comes with this. We could use it like this. You select the column you want, the table you want to select from, and you can use it and just say where column. We've talked about it. This is multiple subqueries, multiple row subqueries. So there are different types of subqueries. We have single row subqueries, we have multi-row subqueries, we have nested subqueries, and we have correlated subqueries. And we said, okay, a single row subquery is the one that is always gotten for the subquery returns a single value, usually aggregation, right? So the subquery is the inner query. This is usually called the subquery, while the outer query is the main query. So the one that we are depending our results, our major query on, is called the subquery. So like you see, there are two main queries, two queries. This is the main query, and this is the helping query or the auxiliary query, which is actually called the subquery. So the single row subquery returns one value, and we use them with the comparison operators most of the times, like the equal to, greater than, greater than or equal to, and the less than or equal to. These are the places we use the single row subqueries. So for example, in our student DB, we want to find students that are older than the average age, right? Find students older than the average age. Let's open our SQL and try to start. Let me create a new script for this. I'm going to use the student DB, of course. School DB, school DB. That's one I'm using in this script. Then start by saying, okay, we want to select. Let's first select the average. Remember aggregation, we did aggregation, right? Aggregation takes in rows and returns single value. Example is max, mean, average, and all the sum and all those. So quickly, let's use, for example, want to find the average age of students. We'll say select. Start with the word avg. What are we finding the average? We're finding the average age. Then from what table? From, there is a table called students in our school DB, and if you run this, you're expected to get one single value, right? One single word. So this subquery that returns only one single value are called single row subqueries, and most of the times, or you are expecting to use them with what aggregation, like max. This one returns the maximum, the person with the maximum age. Mean, aside average, these are other queries that return one value from passing in one single column. I think min, max. I think there is mode. Yes, mode like this now. Is it mode? How is it spelled? Okay, I think it's mode like this. The one that appears most, right? I think there is this. Is this German mode, mean, median? I think there is median. Is this a spelling of median? Okay, well, but the ones we have is mean, less, average, avg. So these are aggregation functions. We are expecting only one result from this. So these are the ones that are actually used as a single row subqueries in a main query, right? So for example, we want to use this inside like the question we are asking. Find the students older than the average age. First, we have to get what the average age. Then use it as a filtering condition in the way for whatever students you are fetching. And that's why we say, okay, well, this one will be our filtering condition. But what are we really selecting? We want to select all students. Maybe we can just say their first name, and the last name. If you have to specify the column, of course, production. You have to specify the column. Select this. From what table? We are selecting it from the students table. Now, like I said, we use the aggregation or the aggregation query as our what filtering condition. I say we use it in where and having. Where we use it because we are doing row level aggregation where age is greater than whatever we have in here. And this we are expecting to return a list of students whose age are greater. So let's even add the age so we can know what we're talking about. So we can see that yes, whatever we are going to find here, the age should be greater than 16, which we found earlier. So quickly, next one, you see that all these people age are greater than 16 points because they are greater than the average age. That is single row subquery. Are we good? Then aside single row subqueries, we have multi-row subqueries, which returns multiple values, and we use that as a filtering condition, and we use them with the in, with the any, and with the all. Can use the can use it. So quickly, let's check out for multi-row subqueries. So how does it work? Basically, we are expecting list of, so we want to first select, like this question here asked, find students enrolled in any course taught by Dr. Smith. First, we have to find the courses taught by Dr. Smith before we even find the students, right? So the courses that are taught by find students enrolled in courses, and the course ID. You understand? So that is why we must join on the join must happen on that place. So e dot course ID should be the same as the course c dot course ID. And that's about that. That's where the joint happens. So we are expected to get from this statement we are supposed to get list of students IDs. These are all students ID that study a course. They are very plenty, but we have to add another level again because the question said, what is the question said? The question said that is courses that is taught by what? Dr. Smith. We don't have Dr. Smith, but we have Dr. Adams in our database. So quickly, so we have to put a condition where where the course teacher c dot teacher should be the same as what? Dr. Adams, because that's what we have, one of the doctors we have. So now we have filter on row level, right? So if we do this, if this one will initial, let's run this. If you run this, see that yes, these are the courses taught by Dr. Adams. Now these are the students that are enrolled in courses that are taught by Dr. Adams, the student's ID. But we can't get the student's name from enrollment and courses only. We can get student name, their names from the student table. So we have to join whatever we got here to the students on the student's ID, right? So that is why we might not do join. We use subqueries. So these are the list of IDs. So quickly we use subqueries saying um students, select first name and last name, okay? And from the students table, then where, as a condition, where the student ID, which is the ID we are joining now, students ID is the same as, or student ID in the open brackets, close the brackets, because this is expected to return a result list of. So if you do this, we are getting list of people that are actually enrolled in Dr. Adam's courses. Exactly. So let's get that done. Let's see. Are we good? So quickly, now we have, that's how we got. So let's continue with another type. We have nested subquery on the from. That's where we, this is called it using a derived table. So the subquery is acting as a derived table. So we are now using the subquery as a table of its own. The other first two, which is the multi and single rows subquery, we are using it from filtering, right? From where, usually on where. Remember, where is for filtering. But in the second one now, the third one, which is nested subquery, the subquery is going to act as a table of its own, right? We have a table, and that is what we are doing our selection from. Exactly. So for example, this is a classical question that says show average age per grade using subqueries. Want to show, remember this is a problem that can be followed with different approach, but we are using subquery. Even the other first one, we might choose to say, okay, we don't want to, we could just join students here, right? Can do join. Select first name from student. Instead of saying where, we just join, we join. You understand? We join, instead of select, we can just say, okay, we join enrollment here. Join, can join enrollment here. And this will still work, as in based on what we learned the other time, right? So first name, so we have to be clear. This is giving the first name and S, so let's put it as S, as, S, right? And say the students dot first name and students dot last name. This will return exactly what we got. So sorry, this is Brian Taylor. Oh, these are like, these are just like bringing every students, but these ones are more than one. So we could do left join and different type of join, but this is This is more like union. But in the other first case, this is using the subquery as filtering condition, right? The next thing we're going to check out is using it as a table inside the from. So that's where we say, okay, from this whatever table that is gotten your result that is gotten from here, which is going to act as the table, we want to select the grade level and average. What does this statement say? By selecting grade level, remember grouping. This is aggregation. And say grade level and average as average age, and we are selecting it from student and we are grouping by grade level. This is grouping. So quickly let's get the average age by grouped by grade level. So quickly, just as a subquery only, let's get the subquery. The third one is multi-level, right? This is nested, sorry, nested subqueries within from keyword. So that's why we say, okay, we want to selecting first. Let's select everything just for testing purpose. We want to select what is the question? The question says show average age per grade level using subqueries. Average age. Remember, what we are looking for is average age, avg of what? Age. You can give it an alias as, what should we call it? And put it inside quotation, average age. Yeah. Then you can give it that. What table are we get? Let's end this statement before we run into trouble. We're getting it from the students table, but they said according to the question they want us to also show average age per. I told you anywhere you see the word per for each, they are talking about grouping, and that is where we do the group by grade using subquery. So we use the group by because they say per grade, so we use group by grade level and just send it like this. Only these subqueries will give us, this is the average age per grade level, right? And remember, if you want to add that grade level, you have to add it here. So when you do this, comma, and you run this, so grade 11 average age of grade 11 is this, average grade level, average age of grade 10 is this, 12 and 9 respectively. So now they want us to find words show average age. So we want to select the grade level and average age. Grade level, we can just, this is a table on its own. Well, I don't know why we want to still do this, but well, because this is already, so we want to select the, are there more? Then we can just select everything. Can just select everything. Then from, this is where we say we use them inside the from. Well, whatever it is there, that's what we are still expecting anyway. So well, select, what are we selecting from this table? Basically it's just just the upgrade level, which we call this and because we're expecting the table from this, because this is going to be a column here, and we need to add the lesson grade stats. That's the name of the table. So grade stats. So grade stats. So let's run this and so this is the average age. Oh, you know what? Let's call this, instead of giving this, let's give it average age and use this so that we don't return this string. So it doesn't see it as a string, but we'll see it as a variable. So we're expecting this because we put it inside quotation, it's thinking it's a string. So this one now is acting as a table. This selected statement is acting as a table. And then the table now is what we are returning. We can return only one column, just like any other table. Or could return multiple. I did mean there are other people, other column here. Would have seen them. You can choose which to return or not. So that's nested subqueries within a from. Then the last one is correlated subqueries. So the inner queries depend on outer query. So the inner query is still dependent on the outer query. On the other hand, what we have been doing is the outer query is totally dependent on the inner query, right? But in this case, there is correlation. So let's find students who are the youngest in their grade. So definitely we are grouping. So say select student ID, first name. These are the things we want to select from students, from the student as they where age, still the year, select, and the mean age from students where grade level is equal to s dot. So this is, what is the condition? Youngest grade level is the same as the student's grade level. So first we select the student, but now the filtering condition is another subquery. So only this subquery now. This is aggregation. You remember aggregation, right? So we are aggregating only the students that are in the same grade level. You understand? So those ones in grade 11 will have their grade averaged. Those ones in grade 9 will have all their grade, sorry, the minimum is not average. So this is actually like a single row. This is more like a single row. That first one is almost like that. But this is depending on the outward one because of this student table. So in that, send the statement. So we select what are the things? Majorly student ID, first name, age, grade level. Let's select everything, please, because those are basically everything. But from where? From the students table as S. We're going to call it S. Then the filtering condition now, where age is the same as age should be the same as this. Now we are expecting a single value here. right? How many value? Yeah, a single value. So now this is the subquery. First, let's even write only the subquery so we know what we're talking about. The subquery select. The reason why we can write only the subquery is because what? There is an outward query, outward parameter that this one is dependent on S. So this subquery depends on something outside. You understand, right? That's why it's called a correlated. This is dependent on this, while this is also dependent on this. So we cannot write only the subquery standalone. So we have to set, okay, where age is the same days, then we have start our mini statement. Select the youngest age from a student's table, then where we're only aggregating those people that are of the same grade level. So we set grade level, where grade level same as students grade level. That's that. Then we end the aggregation. So this is all it's what this is a subquery, but it's not just standing alone. It's dependent on another parameter outside its query, which is the main query. So they are correlated. If you run this, these are the students. First name is Sean Calis Castillo. So the student's ID, the age, and their corresponding grade level. So this is just like this, this is a single row because it's aggregation. Remember, we're expecting one value. That value is what we're actually using as the age parameter.
So today our class is 12 o'clock, right? Just to confirm.
So that's about that. Then why do we even need these subqueries anyways? So subquery is used for to filter dynamically using result of another query. Query inside another query, as the name implies. Like we have seen, can use it inside from, can use it inside where, can even use it inside web having, right? Just that the return list, as far as you have seen from your exposition, that a query can return a single value. terms of aggregation functions, or it could even return a single column, which are list of some things that you can use to filter. So that is why they are using filtering very well. And to avoid creating temporal tables, we could use subqueries. To solve complex queries step by step, we could do this as well. So in real life use cases, school can find students older than